Over the last few days, or maybe week, since I've started this YouTube channel, I keep thinking about one thing that happened in my life that I didn't think was possible, that I could see actually the whole world be affected by it. If someone had told me this was possible, I would have simply said bullshit. And the biggest scam that I've ever seen in my life was when they introduced COVID-19 to the world. Now, maybe I was fortunate back in 21 where probably 5 years before that I realised that all the media you get told, it isn't honest. They've got a bias. They've got an agenda. So anything I got told, I just didn't automatically, oh, well, that's true. What if they're saying that on TV, that must be right. No, I'd do my own research into it. But the one thing that always struck me with COVID was that it hit the world all at once. Every country in the world had COVID. And I'm sorry, to me, I just said, this is bullshit. And the next thing, it was a cold. You just had the flu. That was the only thing that was wrong with you. But now all of a sudden, you had this massive sickness. And then the media. I've never seen a scare campaign in all my life. I had people at work, some the same age as me that were old school. Most of them said, oh, this is just crap. But anyone 40 and under, well, they just thought it was the end of the world. I used to have many arguments at work over COVID because I just used to say it was crap. And like I said, I had people my age or older. I remember one time I went up to talk to this guy, Ron, and I got within a metre and he said, stop, don't come any closer. And I said, what, you believe in this as well? He goes, oh, yes, yes, yes. And I'm thinking, Christ. And then if someone had told me, and, oh, look, Jack, you're going to be locked in your house for 10 days and you're not allowed to go anywhere, I would have said, you're kidding. And it just went on and on and on. And then the next thing they brought in, not only this scam, because all these people supposedly dying of COVID, but the truth of that came out that, an old guy in hospital his heart was no good. So he virtually died because his heart gave out. But no, they said, oh, he had COVID. They'd approach the family and say, oh, look, we want to write down he died of COVID. You'll get a bit of a kickback. So they go, yeah, so now all these deaths are COVID. It was just, I just couldn't believe that the whole world was doing this. All the politicians were doing it. They were just scaring people. I don't know. Look, to be honest, I don't know what it was all about. Why would you break all the economies of every country? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to work that out, but I'm only saying what affected me. And then the next step they took was the blackmail step. Well, listen, Jack, you can't work unless you go and get a COVID shot. So I couldn't afford not to work. I had no choice. I had to go get a COVID shot just so I could go to work. So I had the first COVID shot. I go, oh, okay, well, that's done. And then lo and behold, they decide, oh, no, you're not allowed to work, Jack, unless you go get another COVID shot. And I said, Christ, where's this going to end? So anyway, I go back. The first shot was nothing, didn't sort of worry me. But what really pisses me off now, even to this day, right now, is that second shot. I don't know what it did, but it took an edge off me. It either took my enthusiasm, made me a bit sluggish. I can't put it into words, but it just took an edge off me. And I remember telling people, and they're going to me, oh, no, Jack, it's your age. I said, Christ, it's not about age. I know my age. I know how my body is, but I'm just telling you that's the effect that it had on me. And I'm still pissed about it. But, you had no choice. You had to go do it. I can't believe that I would have seen any of this in my lifetime. But lo and behold, it happened. And then anyone that seemed under 40 or whatever, they just went along with it. They didn't question it. They didn't even think. They just, whatever they say is true. We just go with it. If there's anything that you should take out of COVID, which I hope people do, is that, in your own life, just don't listen to everyone else's opinion and go along with that. Don't listen to what is all over the media and, oh yeah, that must be correct. You need yourself to come up with your own thoughts and think about what's being said, what's being done. Open your eyes and look at the world and make your own decision. For Christ's sake, you know, in your life, if there's one thing you want to change, is don't be a robot and just follow everyone else like a sheep onto the bus to nowhere. If you want to be somewhere in your life and be someone, make your own decisions. Again, I can't say it enough, make your own decisions. Don't make them to please everyone. Don't make them because that's what he said we should do. Make them because that's what you think in your head, that's what you believe in your heart, and you're making a decision with your eyes wide open. That's the greatest lesson that you could be given in life. Be your own person. Make your own decisions, and based on that, live your life. Because many a time you're going to come up to a situation where, oh, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Instead of asking everyone, come back to yourself, look into yourself, look into your mind, do your own research, and what you come up with, then damn it, that's what you go with. Anyway, take care, be strong, Jack.